shoot, I said as you claim it. Instant Xbox, spin the block, his legs slide. Fast talker, no riddling, moonwalking, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That much making a portrait. Gun kick back, not grannies from porches. David on the scene, you know that it's scorching. What's a man with king? No response to the saying, advancing the line, advancing the payment. You front the game and shoot, I said as you claim it.
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted. This what you wanted, huh?
Peace and blessings and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. Now, this wonderful Monday is fantastic. It started off really good. I can't complain. I happen to really like when the week starts off fresh, sunny, the birds are chirping, flowers are blooming. It's a great week. We had a great fight weekend. We also had a great ILP this weekend. If you got a chance to check it out, I was the host. Laura Cognito was there. And Attic and I got into a fight to see who was going to host the show. And you guys picked me. Appreciate you. And y'all also got Attic in a Little Mermaid's dress. I appreciate that too. So that was a highly successful show. And go back, check it out. Remember, we're here to please. And Attic is going to please you just a little bit more. And when this goal is reached, I'm going to be whipping the brakes out of Attic. Now, I know you're saying what that goal is. That goal is me and him playing Demon Slayer. And if you are any fan of the anime, you know it can get really cantankerous in these battles. But we got a ton of topics to talk about today. Now, a lot of times people think that they can take advantage of one thing when it comes to a console. And that's not necessarily the case. But I got information with you guys today that's going to let you know where PlayStation is and where Xbox is. A lot of times people think it's all cut and dry. That's really not the case. Now, Microsoft purchases more than $1 billion worth of excrement. You heard me right. I'm talking the poop, people, including human poop, to clean up its AI mess. The company will pump waste underground to offset the AI carbon emissions. It wants to buy poop to bury deep underground to counter all the pollution that its data centers are generating. Now, on the surface, this may seem like something that's crazy. And I got to give my man J-Dub the big ones and twos on this. I mean, I appreciate you for bringing this to us. We wouldn't know that Xbox is where they're spending their money at. Now, I know you're going to say, how the hell did we get to this $1.7 billion price? Well, I can tell you that the company that's taking care of the poop removal, they signed a deal with Volta Deep. And they're paying to remove 4.9 million metric tons of waste over 12 years. And it's sourced from manure, sewage, and agriculture byproducts for injection into deep underground. Now, a lot of companies do this. Well, with the company paying $350 per ton, you get to multiply that by the life of the contract. Comes up to $1.7 billion. Now, you may say that's a hefty investment. Well, they need to help Sony out some type of way. New information that just came to light where they're getting the source of all this manure from, and the King is here to bring it to you. Yes, definitely one of the highlights of the day. Sony Dev Kits is the source of the manure. It's the byproduct. Is the trash that no one needs. We found out where the 77 million PlayStations went because they damn sure didn't go to consumers. Because we know that the piss poor sales of video games indicate there can only be at least 20 million of them in the wild. Now, this isn't the lawsuit of the 7.9 billion, I think that was in the UK. This is another lawsuit that Sony has going against them. It's a class action lawsuit brought to them by the US and the digital distribution sales of video games. And the judge declined to accept the offer of resolution for the $7.8 million. And they said that, class action settlement didn't reach what she felt was adequate according to, her depiction of what the situation is. Now, they describe the agreement as a coupon settlement, and those type of deals are just generally disfavored. So what Sony was trying to do was give them back coupons that they can in turn use that money to put that money back into their ecosystem. I don't think that's a cool settlement. Like, if I get a settlement, give me back my money so I'm able to do with my money as I will. The judge said the consumers who brought the case can file a revised proposal, and the lead attorney for the plaintiffs declined to comment. Sony did not immediately respond to the request to comment. I think they will come to some type of settlement. Honestly, based off of this, we know that there are misused practices. It was cause for concern because they were saying that Sony was monopolizing the digital distribution sales because you weren't able to get digital codes from Best Buy, Target, and other retailers like that, and you was only able to get these digital codes through Sony. So through that, they're able to control the pricing structure. That never goes well. And this is why I tell you that, sometimes you got to really keep these companies in line. You got to really check. And class action lawsuits are really the best way to make this your presence felt. When there are groups, when there's teams, there's numbers, and you can work it that way. Now, one of the games I'm fond of growing up was Ghost Recon, and playing these games is really fun. Now, from what I hear, for all intents and purposes, Isnt was at the shareholder meeting, and they were talking about the project that they have working. And now remember, they do have a new working structure that they're doing called creative houses. And in these creative houses, they do pitch new projects, and Ghost Recon is one of them. Now, supposedly supposed to be a first-person shooter, and as a first-person shooter, it takes on that feel, is heavily inspired, so to say, by Ready or Not. I think it's a tactical SWAT police officer type of shooter. Don't quote me on this, but I don't know if you pick either or you're like the officers and SWAT. I don't know how the tiers go in the police system. So, but the game seems to be along those lines, and I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that, right? So it takes heavy inspiration from Call of Duty Modern Warfare series, footage sent to Inside Gamer under the condition that it doesn't go public, that is akin to Ready or Not. So again, from all intents and purposes, they seem to be on the right track. I do understand that Ubisoft knows their way around a shooter or two. So Rainbow Six Siege, if anyone really respect that. But I'm into this. If you're a fan of slow clap, and I know you're going to say, well, I love a slow clap, King. No, I'm talking about the developer that made Absolver. Now, if you remember Absolver was the game that came before Sifu, and I know you're going to talk about Sifu, which is probably the better known title, but Absolver came out first, and Absolver was like this kung fu game that was online, multiplayer, and you could drop in and you could fight in the world. And I remember playing the game, and the game was really fun. It was cool. It had a lot of good aspects to it. Felt a little bit janky, but the art style kind of lends to it being marionette puppet type of feel, right? And I always thought it was fantastic. I always thought that the faces being covered by masks allow them to be anyone that they choose to be. And it was an incredible ride, and I actually loved it. So Slow Clap came, and instead of getting Absolver 2, Slow Clap came and gave you Sifu. Now, Sifu itself was a karate flick. Imagine this, if you will. If you grew up, if you're my age, right, or close to my age, or in my age bracket, right? If you're 46 and above, you know about drive-in movie theater, you know about Channel 5, you know about, and especially if you're from North America, you know, north of the Atlantic, you know about these karate films made from the Shaw brothers, Run Shaw, Run Me Shaw, and they brought to you some of the greatest kung fu flicks that you would ever see. And I thought that the whole embodiment of that aspect of it was this roguelike game that came out with an ingenious aspect. When you die in the game, you can come back, but you can use your age and place your stats in different areas. And by the time you get to the end of the game, you know, you can sacrifice your health, you know, for more punching power or something like that, or faster speed or whatever. But by the time you get to the end of the game, you're one of the old Chinese film dudes with the gray beard. See how my beard comes down to a point? And it does that in Sifu. And he has the ponytail, and the goatee is crazy. That's an inspiration. Well, everybody's been asking for Sifu 2 because the game was so wonderful. The game was so dope. It launched on PlayStation and a PC, but then it launched inside Game Pass, and it showed up inside Game Pass. But Slow Clap is one of those people that doesn't rest on their laurels. Slow Clap decided, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do Rematch. And Rematch is an online soccer game, much like Rocket League. If you see Rocket League, but imagine Rocket League, instead of the cars, you have people. And it's a lot of customization to your character. The world looks like Fortnite mixed with a little bit of their style, and the colors pop, and the game just looks phenomenal. And that's inside Game Pass as well. So I'm just saying that Slow Clap, instead of doing the same thing over and over again, they're building an army of IPs that are equally as good, from Absolver all the way to Rematch. And they seem to understand the formula and what makes it great. Great gameplay, great movement equals automatic sale. So I just want to give a shout out to Slow Clap. And yeah, I kind of agree with them not just rehashing and doing a Sifu 2. I kind of like Rematch, and Rematch is kind of cool. Just the other day, Microsoft has canceled their movies storefront. So you don't get movies and you don't get music. But what went down is now you can do what I hope they would do, right? With Movies Anywhere allows you to sync your Xbox purchases with other film providers. So this is only in the US. And I hope this thing is a global release that actually spreads across the world, because Microsoft announced that its movies and TV service will be coming to an abrupt end. And it was so abrupt that it was on the 18th, and that was it. But the fortunate part of the existing purchases is safe for now, and it's still accessible via a dedicated movies and TV and films app on Xbox in the streaming form. And it be kind of downloaded on the PC too. If you want another option, though, you're located in the US, it might be worth signing up for something called Movies Anywhere. This service that syncs your movies between multiple platforms, including Microsoft and TV and Amazon Prime and Apple TV and others, allow you to access them into one location. There's the one catch that, you know, it's only in the US, and it's not 100% perfect solution by any means, but it's better than absolute nothing. And I think that, you know, this allows you to bring your movies and everything to one space. For right now, this helps. Lily Wang, product manager over at Microsoft and the Microsoft Experience at Xbox, said that the blog post that Xbox, we want you to play your games where you want, with the people that you want, anywhere you want. Building on the recent aggregated library update, we'll continue to evolve our library as the go-to destination for your games. Now with the cloud playable console titles on the Xbox PC app and a play history that follows you across your devices, starting today, Xbox insiders will be able to begin to see all their cloud playable games included into their play history and library right from the Xbox app on the PC. This includes all cloud playable titles, even console exclusives spanning from original Xbox to Xbox Series consoles. Whether you own the title or access it through Game Pass, now you can find all your games able to be played via the cloud gaming in one convenient place. Plus, your recent games now follow you across devices. Whether you're on console, PC, or Windows handheld, a new play history tile makes it easy to jump back into these games you recently played with the Xbox ecosystem. So you can always pick up right where you left off, no matter the device, your progress or your preference, and play moments are always just one tap away. It will be continuing a late night session on your laptop, sneaking in a quick match on your handheld, or diving deep into your console. Xbox make it effortless to stay connected to the games that you love. Now, I've told you before that if you can't do the three things with it, it doesn't matter, and Xbox and Microsoft isn't with it. This cloud play is a heavy push, and the server blades being updated takes this initiative one step further to realizing the ultimate goal. Now, I've heard about this, and I've heard about this a couple of times. Somebody told me For the King 2 is supposed to be one of the greatest RPGs, and I probably would have never got a chance to try it unless it dropped inside Game Pass. Well, lo and behold, For the King 2, one of the greatest RPGs of the decade, is free inside Game Pass. Now listen, I'm not saying this. This is Bruno that's saying this. Now, I'm going to tell you, haven't got a chance to play it. But if you have, please leave a comment down at the bottom. Let me know. Because listen, I read every comment. Now, sometimes I respond, sometimes I don't, but I definitely put a like and a thumbs up to everything that you guys do. So let me know if you get a chance, because listen, they said that the campaign structure is relatively simple, as you need to fight your way through evil forces dispatched by the traitorous queen, Rosamund. I like RPGs. My RPG deck is filled right now with Avowed, upping the ante with all the extra stuff that they added. Me personally, I gotta finish Avowed as well. And bro, so many RPGs. But let me know if you got a chance to play For the King 2. I just want to try it. Maybe I just jump in. I don't know. Playing so many damn games lately. You know, sometimes I absolutely get turned off really by the community, by lies and fabrications. Now, this is a known lie and a known fabrication of what is to be the facts, right? But I see a lot of people running with it. And of course, if that's your favorite console, you want to run with it. It's cool. I've done it numerous occasions, so I'm not pointing anyone out in particular. I don't do that, especially people that are creative in this space. You want to be the person that drops the information, and you want to be that person that gets that content to your peoples, especially if your peoples are a little bit down at the time. But to get to this, Grand Theft Auto 6 Leaks, which is, I mean, take it with an absolute grain of salt. 60 frames per second on the PlayStation 5 Pro, with Grand Theft Auto 6 and the PlayStation 5 Pro bundle soon to be announced. Grand Theft Auto 6 runs at 60 frames per second on the PlayStation 5 Pro, according to new rumors, with PlayStation engineers helping Rockstar with optimizations and new tech by 2026. Grand Theft Auto 6 is reportedly being optimized to run at a smooth 60 frames per second on the PlayStation 5 Pro, featuring multiple graphics settings in collaboration with the PlayStation engineers. Targeted for May 2026, the optimization supports anticipated PlayStation 5 bundles and potentially making it a major system seller. they don't need extra systems, but I will talk about that in the end. Grand Theft Auto 6 is reportedly running at a buttery smooth 60 frames per second on the PlayStation 5 Pro, while continuing to be optimized on the beefier PlayStation 5 Pro console with multiple graphic settings, says the rumor. Now, this is Detective Seeds. I don't normally call anybody out, but I gotta let you know who said this and what's happening, right? In a new post by X, the insider Detective Seeds, we're hearing that the PlayStation engineers are also helping with optimization on the new tech being implemented and rolled out with the current target date of May 2026. The engineers are also assisting on several other Rockstar titles that are rolling out in the near future. As of right now, 60 frames per second has been achieved on the PlayStation 5 Pro only, but this can change before the release of Grand Theft Auto 6, and it's anticipated that Grand Theft Auto 6 will have multiple graphical settings and options for the PlayStation 5 Pro release. The leaker also notes that the Rockstar PlayStation marketing deal is what's encouraging this collaboration with optimization. It's anticipated that we will see multiple Grand Theft Auto 6 PlayStation 5 bundles in the next marketing push. Nearly a year ago, September 26th, I'm not even going to go into all that stupidness. But again, take this with a grain of salt. This has already been debunked. And again, I'm going to talk about it in my closing arguments today. This is the part where common sense starts to come into the building. Grand Theft Auto 6 game may struggle on the PlayStation 5 as Death Stranding 2 triggers overheating issues. Death Stranding 2 is overheating PlayStation 5 consoles, and that's raising serious questions about how Grand Theft Auto 6 will perform on the same hardware. Sony's PlayStation 5 is facing new concerns about its ability to handle the next generation game smoothly, with recent reports of overheating linked to Death Stranding 2 raising questions about the upcoming PlayStation 5 release of Grand Theft Auto 6. As the gamers anticipates Rockstar's blockbuster open world title, many wonder if the PlayStation 5 base can even deliver the performance required for such a graphically intense experience. Death Stranding is overheating and causing red flags when it comes to the PlayStation 5. A PlayStation 5 exclusive has impressed players with its incredibly detailed visuals and expansive environments. However, users have reported the game causing PlayStation 5s to overheat, especially when accessing the in-game map. The sudden surge in the fan activity triggers an overheating warning, even on a console that are clean and brand new. Beyond the map, some players have noticed overheating during regular gameplay, though these cases are less frequent. The reports are not isolated to Death Stranding 2. Other demanding titles like Black Myth Wukong and Final Fantasy 16 have caused PlayStations to overheat. PlayStations have been overheating all across the world. I don't know what makes anyone think that it can run Grand Theft Auto 6 without absolutely blowing up. It might come with a fire extinguisher. That might be the packing bundle. Now, if you have a PlayStation 5 Pro and you want to get Chang Fallen Feathers, graphical settings include the PlayStation 5 Pro 80 frames per second mode, and you need to have a television that has 120 hertz comparable display. Now, other than that, you're going to have the quality mode at 30 frames per second, a balance mode at 40 frames per second, and a performance mode at 60 frames per second. Meanwhile, the Pro will up the ante with quality mode at 60 frames, balance mode at 70, and performance mode at 80 frames per second. You must have the optimum television to take advantage of this opportunity. Now, we all know that you got TCLs and you're not going to be able to do it. So again, I'm going to tell you that it's going to be a bad day for you. But for us Xbox dudes, just boot it up. Just go have fun with it. Shout out to Game Pass for serving us right. I appreciate you, Game Pass. It's been a great year. Variable refresh rate is giving the PlayStation 5 Pro a massive boost. Now, Cyberpunk 2077 has started this avalanche of new information based off of, I think it was a 2.3 patch that went live. And I personally find it gratifying that finally that the PlayStation is able to utilize this thing that my Xbox has been utilizing since day one. And variable refresh rate is a game changer if you actually have the displays to use it. Those are the televisions. Now, I know a lot of you guys went and got the most affordable television that you can get, and you thought 4K was good, a smart television. As there's a lot goes into purchasing televisions, there's a lot goes into the HDMI slots that you have available. There's a lot that goes into these things, and not every HDMI slot is created equal, like not every television is created equal. Hopefully you get a chance to, before you buy PlayStation 5 Pro, based off of this new information that you're seeing here, hopefully you do have the display units that are able to utilize the capabilities of said machine. The reason why I was so elated when I got my PlayStation 5 Pro is because I've always had these display units that were able to utilize this, and I do have multiple HDMI slots. Sometimes you only have one HDMI slot. I do have a television that has 2 HDMI slots, and that's where my Series X is hooked up to and my PlayStation 5 Pro. So again, if you do happen to have a television that utilizes this tech, it will behoove you not to have a PlayStation 5 Pro and take advantage of what it has to offer, because these televisions and the tech that are inside these devices are the reason why we game like this. So if you want to take your gaming to the next level, and the next level is really the connections that you have, and also have a great HDMI cord when doing so, right? Gold tip HDMI cords for me has seemed to be the best conductors when it came to this. That is not the best indicator or the greatest indicator or the only indicator, but it's just what works for me. So I happen to use gold tip HDMI cables when it comes to that television and it comes to those two devices, right? And sometimes you got to pay a little bit for a good display unit, and you got to pay a little bit for the wires connecting it too. I don't use the wires that come out of the box. I actually go and purchase cables that are made to deliver high bandwidth at low heat capacity. So again, you got to think about what you're purchasing, and if your devices mean something to you, then take that extra step to go get that done. Now, a lot of times people think that tech is supposed to be cheap, right? And tech isn't cheap. A lot of times people think that the software behind the tech is supposed to come cheap. We're getting into an ever expansive area where the tech isn't cheap, the software behind the stuff isn't cheap, the monitors and the displays aren't cheap. Now, there's been a lot of talk about, does the PlayStation 5 Pro actually display over the 60 frames per second? Well, if you don't have the display unit to actually get that out, you're not going to be able to see that. If you don't have the cables necessarily to bring that to the television or monitor, you're not going to be able to see that. There's a lot of things that goes into getting the most out of these current gen consoles. And in watching individuals talk about next gen consoles, it kind of baffles me. This is why hashtag no PlayStation 6 is real. I'm going to keep the boot on Kong's neck this whole generation. We're going to run it up on these bums. I personally feel that you guys are overlooking the tech that we do have, right? I'm super elated with the tech that I do have. I hear people talking down on the Switch 2. The Switch 2 is in its infancy, doing a lot of things that the major two are doing now. Maybe it's not doing it at the greatest scale, but it's still doing things that the Switch 1 couldn't do. And for that demographic, for that ecosystem, for those individuals that purchase the Switch 2, kudos to you. You got a device that is able to display more, do more, and be more than the previous device. And I think that's all you ever ask for a device, right? I mean, at $500, you expect that device to be greater than the previous device, and it shows that it's being greater than the previous device. So that's all I asked of it. Now, people feel threatened, and they feel that their little plastic boxes are being threatened, and they feel their insecurities need to show out. And that's cool. If you identify with a box, that's great. And that's for you. But as a gamer, You're supposed to be everywhere at all places at all times. And I see the strategy where Microsoft is taking it. Now, I understand a lot of times you're going to say, well, King, you only see the strategy because they're forcing you to see the strategy. Not necessarily true. Now, there's other places where you get the chance to watch your movies and stuff like that, right? Movies anywhere. They didn't force me to do anything. I could continue to use my app this way. But having the ability to do multiple things with one device or one app or one situation, that allows for a greater level of versatility that is necessary in today's times. You may not have access to a television and or a laptop or something like that, and you can just use your phone. But if you're able to use your phone and you're able to stream anywhere, well, Microsoft's new initiative with streaming games anywhere, that's a big boon, right? So getting to where I'm talking about this hardware, this tech, this software, these prices, everything going up, while infrastructure, these people think that it's supposed to be easy. Servers aren't run off of Kool-Aid. Servers is run off of cash. And we want these servers to be up and running, but we don't want to fit the bill. Now, with services like PlayStation Now and Xbox Game Pass and Nintendo Online offering a plethora of ways for you to keep your gaming going, to have access to different things, I see the value in this. Like, I don't see the value in a single purchase. A lot of people see a single purchase and they think that they find themselves having some form of value. I don't see the value in it any longer. Like, I've never seen the value in purchasing a single movie when I can just get my Netflix subscription. It's these sensibilities that have changed my buying habits. And I think that sensibilities has eked their way into these sales numbers that are coming up. With Death Stranding selling only 1.3 million in the allotted time that it have, while other titles have shown a greater penchant for selling at a greater rate. It lets you know that people are using their dollars and their discerned taste to their advantage for what they want. And I feel that right now, the single purchase is just not a good thing. With Game Pass offering the best, the highest value that you can ever get when it comes to video games at the moment, with streaming, with downloading and playing. Now you have the PC aspect of it and you're able to stream your console games over to your PC. Well, this changes the whole thing. This takes that one piece of product and turns it into something larger. It turns it into something that is able to go with you no matter where you are in this world, if you have a stable connection. That is key. Now, a lot of us live in metropolises, and for those people that don't live in metropolises, you can download to that Xbox ROG Ally X. That's travelable. You're able to take it, download your game to it, and play it. See, I'm getting to the greater aspect of what these consoles have to offer us, where our money goes. When the PlayStation 5 Pro can offer you variable refresh rate now with the patch 2.3, and when I was telling people it was a value, and they were saying, nah, I don't see the value, King. And I'm like, it's going to happen. You just got to wait for the software to catch up to the tech. The MPU in the box actually, the piston in the box actually gives you an up-res resolution to an image that they got natively, which probably is like 480p, and it takes it to a higher level. But if you have the display unit and I have the display unit, I saw the value in that. Now, a lot of you just don't want to spend the money, and I get it. In today's economy, spending that money can actually hurt you. It can't help, right? Especially on something as a hobby. This is a hobby, and we got to really respect it as such. But in doing so, you actually budget. So the money that you do save in one area, you're able to take that money and save it for later, right? Now, Chang Fallen Feathers, that's dropping inside Game Pass. Who the hell that has Souls games that doesn't have Game Pass is beyond me. With For the King and titles like that are inside Game Pass, it shows its value. Day after day. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 inside Game Pass. Grounded 2 about to launch inside Game Pass. All of these games inside Game Pass gives you a greater access to your titles no matter where you go. So the single purchase really makes no sense. This is the reason why I have PlayStation Plus. The reason why I have it, so I'm able to jump inside the games and play it. Now, my MetaQuest 3 is about to show up, and when it shows up, then I'm going to be able to get their service. You see, gaming has changed. You gotta buy the best television that you can get for the devices that you have. And then from that point, you're able to buy the best hardware, right? So you go get a Series X, and you go to get a Switch 2. Then you go pick up a PlayStation 5 Pro. Then you get yourself a MetaQuest 3. Then you get yourself an Xbox ROG Ally X. And you're pretty much set. You have everything locked down. Then you go buy their services. Nintendo is the cheapest one out of all of them, and it gives you a good service too. I'm not gonna lie. It really is about where you fit in. But right now, the rising cost in video games and the rising cost in consoles, where right now consoles really should have dropped off the face of the map as far as price goes, that's not the case. You're looking for a Black Friday deal, you're looking for a seasonal deal, you're looking for any type of deal to get into the ecosystem. And that doesn't seem to be happening. With games coming out at an exponential rate and prices are going through the roof. The price of that Grand Theft Auto 6 might be insane. And speaking of Grand Theft Auto 6, I know people wanted me to go in on the PlayStation guys. I'm gonna tell you something. Hope is a hell of a drug. And what you got is absolute hope. And for you, I hope it works out. Listen, I'm gonna get Grand Theft Auto 6. And Grand Theft Auto 6 most likely will be purchased on my Xbox console. And playing Xbox, I'll be able to play that game anywhere I would like to play it. On my ROG Ally or wherever the hell I want to do it. Now, I do have a PlayStation 5 Pro. But I did purchase that console in order to play the exclusive titles. And seeing that Death Stranding 2 is having a problem on the base PlayStation 5, I am so happy I upgraded. Overheating and stuff like that is not something I can look forward to. And then you got people out here lying, talking about that the Grand Theft Auto 6 will run at 60 frames per second on the Pro. Hopefully. But until it's officially announced, then I'm just going to hang out here and just get ready for the game. But it's so many games that I should be worrying about right now that's dropping right now. This is the reason why I say hashtag no PlayStation 6. I don't give a damn about a PlayStation 6. I care about right now. I don't live in the past and I'm not living in the future. I'm living right now. And there are games right now, fantastic games right now that are happening. With Cyberpunk 2077 running at supposedly 80 frames per second on your Pro, why are you worrying about Grand Theft Auto? Worry about the Cyberpunk. Worry about what you got tangible in your hands right now. And who the hell cares about some marketing deal? Are you a stockholder? Stop it. When are you going to get back to gaming? When are we going to get back to gaming? When are you going to send me a friend invite on Xbox? When are you going to say, hey man, let me get your Switch information so I can just add you on Switch too? Or what's your PlayStation information so I can just hang out with you over on PlayStation? But you don't do that. See, on Frontline Gaming streams, I get a chance to play everything. Don't hold back. I always bleed green. But at the end of the day, I gotta save that cash. And the only way it seems to be saving that cash that makes any sense to me. Because if you're a PlayStation dude and you really like Xbox games, save you some cash. Get yourself a Series S, get yourself some Game Pass, boom, you make it happen. It's a thing. If you're an Xbox dude and you like PlayStation, well, what I'm gonna tell you is, get yourself a PlayStation and get yourself some PlayStation Plus. Not really worth it. You can get the middle tier on the PlayStation Plus, but make it happen. And Switch guys, I don't even got to tell you, because that's the only place that you're going to play Nintendo products. But this is Xbox Frontline News with your boy, The King. If you liked anything that you saw here, please sub, like, share it out. I drop videos daily, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we have a ball. And if you like me streaming games, go to Frontline Gaming Streams, where we make it happen, Captain. And I'm going to bust Addict behind right up there. You see that? There it is. It's up there. But yo, you know like I know, I'm gonna take that logo and I'm gonna throw it around that RoboCop, because RoboCop is in Game Pass, and you know I gotta go where the gamers play and the winners win. Try to play the Game Pass.